Tonight.
Tonight, yes.
Tonight, there is a new, we actually wanted to say a new kid.
On the block.
On the block. But no. This kid is gradually becoming a giant on the block. Yes. There's a young man, a broadcaster, a film producer, a film director, an academic who has jumped into the ring.
Politics.
On his own. This is one guy I've seen where, you know what, we're so used to, they told me to run. The man woke up, looked at himself, looked at his CV. He said, I'm qualified.
Yes.
I'm running. And small money I have, I'm going to spend it. And he is the one and only Don Pedro Obaseki.
Yes, Dr. Don Pedro Obaseki. Of Edo State, the very, very interesting politics of Edo State. Who will become the next governor of that state? We'll talk to Pedro. And also,
Pedro had been talking. So we have brought him to the studio. Pedro will tell us what he thinks he has that no one in Edo State has. What has qualified him, to jump into the ring, not minding that he has not played politics for a long time. In another 2-3 minutes, he'll be here to talk about it.
And also on the program today, we'll also be talking to Dr. George Ubo. Remember, we have been on this EFCC matter and we're not letting it go. You remember all the serious allegations? Well, the EFCC has tried to respond to just one part of those allegations. They didn't respond on this program. They didn't respond. I think they did that through a newspaper publication. We'll look at that. But the interesting thing is that the Ministry of Justice has come out with some position on the entire matter, and Dr. George Ubo will be sharing that position with us on the program.
It's also important to put on record that when the EFCC continued to say they didn't have access to all the allegations, that the O&M Literature packaged all the documents in our possession and DHL'd it to EFCC. That's like a month ago.
Yes.
And we've got no reply. Nobody has acknowledged it.
Silence is what?
Acceptance of guilt.
Okay. And of course, the president and the entire, government as it were today, do not seem to be bothered about all the many allegations about EFCC. Well, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk politics in Edo State. Don't go away.
Well, a lot of Nigerians continue to dream and hoping that their dream of a great country will come to realization and fulfillment. But one young man has a dream, not just a dream for himself, but a dream for his people. And he wants to lead them to that promised land. Joining us is Don Pedro Obaseki, PhD, governorship aspirant in Edo State.
Thank you. No, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. So,
very glad to be here. I fought to be here.
Well, for a lot of people, Dr. Don Pedro Obaseki wants to be governor. We don't know on what platform really, on what political party do you want to lead Edo State?
I am a very faithful, loyal, and card-carrying member of the All Progressives Congress, APC. And I hope, to the glory of God, I will be the flag bearer of the APC in the election in Edo State when full electioneering begins. So I'm an APC member.
Okay, Don Pedro.
Yes.
Every day in Nigeria, we see people jump into the ring. They want to run for governor. Some want to run so that for life they'll have the appellation His Excellency. Because in Nigeria, you don't need to win. You're already His Excellency. Some want to run because they want to be relevant and then use it to negotiate bigger positions, maybe in the federal government or even in the state. Some also run or jump into the ring because they really deep down want to make a change, in what category does Don Pedro Obaseki fall in?
Without mincing words, please, if I don't win, please don't call me to negotiate, because the people get the leadership they deserve. I am a passionate young man, not very young anymore, and I truly believe that I have a vision, and that vision I want to turn it to the mission of the entire Edo nation when I run for office in 2016. And so I've never thought about the election. I think about a movement, Edo beyond 2016. So I am running for office to win and to serve the good people of Edo State and change the political atmosphere and the governorship, the governance arithmetic. Because you said it in the first option, people just join because they want to be relevant. I am already relevant, and I want to spread that relevance to touch every nook and cranny of the state and give every normal Edo person a sense of belonging and bring back the pride of the old Edo or Bendel or Midwestern Nigeria back to the fore. And I think if I keep quiet and continue to be a cubicle critic behind the sanctuary of my locked door, I will be doing myself a disservice and maybe go to my grave taking with me things I think God had saddled me with to share for and with my people. I want to run, and I am running not for office. I am running for my people. That is the truth.
Now, for these people that you are so passionate about, what would be the, when you look at Edo State today,
yes.
You said you want to return to the glory, to those days of glory of the old Bendel of Midwest State. For you, what would be the most passionate thing that you would want to do if you become governor of Edo State tomorrow?
I don't have one passion.
Why I asked,
yes.
There are people who have been governors,
yes.
who say they have a three-point agenda.
Yes.
Even among that 3 points, when you ask them,
yes, they always
tell you there's a number one. So for you, what would be the most important?
The number one is not very tangential. It is intangible. H-O-P-E. Hope. I want to be a leader who will deal in hope. And once you deal in hope, you will be resurrecting and be resuscitating the humanity of the person. I want to be a dealer in hope so that I can counsel. We're growing up, we worry that I will say secure and counsel. I want to counsel the hopelessness that seems to pervade the entire atmosphere. If we were doing internet or using your phone, let's call it a PIN code. I have a PIN code, and my PIN code is premised on the 3 letters that constitute Edo as a word. E-D-O. I want to empower my people. I want to develop the state, and I want to create the right opportunities so that the people can move forward. When you look at the entire governorship mantra, everything will fall under these 3. So every program I have, all the cardinal programs are premised on creating the right employment, education, empowerment, and creating the right development infrastructure, development manpower, development, and then creating opportunities for the people. You remember that old song by, I think it was Nico Mbaga, you know, opportunity, no, I think Saworo. Opportunity comes but once. Oliver the Coke, thank you. And I just want people to believe, because if they believe, they will live. I want to move my people upward by raising their brain power, because you cannot move the people forward without moving their brain power upward. And this is a state, look, Obi, in the 70s and 80s, if you get grade 2, which means you've had at least 6 C4, you will be ashamed to go and collect your result in the old Bender state. Because at the grade 1 with distinction was the key. Now we are saddled with kids who are hobnobbing and playing around in a motor park democracy. And I begin to ask myself, is this where I grew up? Is this the state that had created in me? A state that had created in Mahmoud Felix Akuba? The answer is no. So there is something that is missing. And that thing is, I will say it again, hope. every other thing will fall into place. Every other thing we can create on an arithmetic table. Every other thing we can cobble and wobble together. But if you don't create a belief, if you don't make the kid grow up with that Hebrews 11:1, that faith is the substance of the things he hopes for and the evidence of the ones he has not seen. That thing that made me grow up dreaming of my cars, if I grow up and get a car loan, while still in secondary school, so I put my leg inside buckets of water, we'll call it awoko, so that we don't sleep, so that creating that nice competitive environment. And once we are able to bring that to the fore, you will be creating more human kids than we have now.
Okay, Don Pedro.
Yes, sir.
A lot of people watching us at home right now will say, there they go again. You know, they're used to anytime it is political campaigning time, people come on TV, speak big drama, and say a whole lot of things. Don Pedro, look us in the eye and tell us what you have, qualities you have, qualifications you have that will distinguish you from the ordinary, normal Edo politician that we know. What are you bringing to the table? What are you telling? I mean, why should anybody leave all these other politicians and invest in you?
First, if I call myself a politician, I may be doing myself a disservice. But I want to go back to that old stuff. Maybe I'm a new breed politician in the state. I am not following the right political path so far. I don't have a godfather so far, because I want everybody to be my godfather thus far. Number two, I am someone who grew up in an environment where integrity is key. People from my family don't join politics. But we just told ourselves that bad men rule simply because the good ones simply don't want to get involved. And you cannot change it, because the bad ones you finally elect into office will make laws, palace laws, laws that will be binding on you because of your inactivity. And so we decided to get involved. I, as a person, yes, I'm a young man, grew up in Edo State and Delta State, went to primary school in Benin, although the primary school I went to that created me might not be the primary school anybody wants to go to now. I went to only have primary school and Ebenezer Primary School. I went to Unity School Agbaro in Warri, and I went to University of Benin and University of Ibadan. I have a first degree, I have 2 master's degrees and an MBA, I have a PhD in performance theory and praxis, and I'm also believed to be one of the 3, 4, 5 people that started Nollywood. When government did not see an industry, we saw it, and that is the vision. I'm not stopping there. I will also say my PhD was one of the ones that led to private broadcasting in Nigeria, which was liberalizing broadcasting in a developing economy as a panacea for coup d'etats. And I think today, the fact that people sit and watch a humongous amount of private television stations, which is very key. I think I was part of that incubation process. Philip was part of that incubation process. I think we were among the very first staff in the very first private television station in Nigeria, DBN TV. And so I've been an executive consultant to Dark Communications since its inception. I've moved from playwriting, being a university lecturer. I became a university lecturer at the age of 21, and into more culture-based things. And now, recently, in the last 6-7 years, I've been part of those designing the Nigerian digital ecosystem. So, once you are conscious of the repercussions of a crime, you are most unlikely to commit it. I am not a jobless money bag looking for a place or a way to dispense my inactivity and boredom. No. I am gainfully employed, or no, I'm a gainful employer of gainful labor. So because I'm not an employee. So, and I told myself to sit back and do nothing. To quote Olarotin, is to cripple fast. So I decided to do something. But if in the course of doing something, my people feel this is not the way to do it, they won't change. So I want to be the change, not just an exchange, or exchange in my parlance mean a cosmetic refacing or cosmetic rebranding of the faces that have populated our polity in the last 16 years. And you cannot continue to do the same thing the same way over a period of 16 years and expect a different result.
Let's just take a break and we'll come back in a moment.
You're still watching the O&M Late Show, and we're still here with Dr. Don Pedro Obaseki, who is running governorship of Edo State. Let's talk a little bit about politics, as in, the practice of it, and electioneering as well. You're a member of the APC. Let's take, for instance, that you get the ticket of the APC. Do you appreciate the enormity of the battle ahead? And I say this because the results from the last elections, presidential, state assembly and all that, indicate very clearly that anybody could become, any of the two parties in Edo State, the two big parties, APC and PDP, can win the governorship of the state.
Yes.
Now, the big wigs in the state in terms of politics, as it were, whether the Anenis, the Tommy Kimis, and all these are people who have had some serious battle with Oshomole, the current governor. And they will all be waiting for the next election, to battle it out. Yes. So would you consider yourself that you are disadvantaged, really, being in the APC?
I am an admirer of Oshomole. Not only as an admirer of Oshomole's personality, but of his person. I keep telling people that for me, Oshomole is like the Moses that was needed in Edo politics. But be that as it may, I think I will be the Joshua to take the state to the promised land. And what I want to do is actually look at this battling and then harmonize the state. Then that is why when I started, I didn't tell anybody I was APC. I am an Edo man, not an APC man or a PDP man. And it may sound funny, if I win the party primary, from there is the day I will start the reconciliation process of all the political gladiators. I will create a Don Pedro Obaseki independent campaign organization that will be outside of the mainstream APC campaign organization, and I will populate it with persons who might not have an APC card, but have the goodwill and well-being of the Edo man at heart. When two gladiators are fighting over a particular turf, they have a direct interest in that turf. The turf now is Edo State. We have a direct interest in the turf to destroy or continue to malign ourselves because elephants are fighting. It is the common man for whom we are swearing to serve that will suffer. And that has happened in the last 2-3 years of the Oshomole second term, because the man is inundated daily fighting political battles. So, and what suffers? The governor's indices drop. That is the truth. And I am not a politician in the old speak. So, and I think that would be a new thing. We have to heal wounds. We have to move the state forward, regardless of our PDP-ness or of our APC-ness, because our Edo-ness must be the primary moving factor. So I created programs that necessarily does not reflect any particular party affiliation. I started playing with my people. Like, I have a very major issue, health. Nobody talks about it. People are talking about things, health. So I created EHI. EHI is a popular Benin word meaning life. Edo Health Initiative. I also going to create EHIS, which is also a popular Eastern word, the Edo Health Insurance Scheme, so as to create a linkage system for health. I'm going to revive all the moribund factories in Edo State, because the state, You walk everywhere, you are talking about Ogbemudia created this, Ogbemudia created that, he created that and that. But Ogbemudia ruled the last time in 1975 when he was overthrown in July by Murtala Muhammad, and Agbazika Ili came in. So when we are referring to something that happened 40 years ago, there is something tangentially wrong with what's happening now. And Oshomole have done pretty well in the beginning, particularly showing us that states can create roads, infrastructure, but the infrastructure will just be the infrastructure for infrastructure's sake. If you don't develop the manpower infrastructure, create the right enabling environment for business to thrive, create new, what are the things we have? Agriculture in preponderance. The white man in 1550 came to the Benin River. In 1861, the Lagos colony, and 1863, the protectorate of the oil rivers. The oil rivers wasn't crude oil. It was palm oil. And the importance of that same palm oil is still very paramount today. Because when I came here, I used perfume, I used paraffin, I used pomade. In my backyard, Edo State is the only state in Nigeria where plantain grown by default. It is the center of the equatorial rainforest. We must push those things to the fore. Okay. And we must create development. We must create a new cultural revival. We must have a field village. We must. These things are
Dan. You know, it's not something you just thought about yesterday. So 1 hour won't be enough, actually. But we have to go. You know, and we wish you all the luck. I mean, if you win this, you win it for all of us.
Thank you, sir.
That will be people in our business. Yes. And we claim we are change agents, so we need to get into the ring and prove that we can really change things. Yes. Thank you, Don, for coming.
We wish you all the best.
Very grateful. I'm very grateful.
And to go with you,
so that you can keep it in a government house. 2016.
Amen. So maybe this is the first gift I'm getting in this race. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And I know that Maui, you will meet the end.
Yes,
and we will. Thank you very much. I'm grateful. I'm big up O&M show.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep.
When we return, we go back to our long-running issue
with the EFCC.
Judge Ubo has more
with some interesting developments.
More developments.
Yes.
And as usual, he's here to share it with us.